mail from the AARP? Really? 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 So, I've actually been thinking I should do a Cougar Tube channel. You know, when I say I've been dieting for decades, I'm not kidding. I think I started my first diet probably when I was 8 years old. I was always a chubby kid, and it didn't get any better. By the time I was 12, I weighed 150 pounds. Now, I was 5'7", but, you know, 150 pounds on a 13-year-old, or a 12-year-old actually. And I went on my first diet. It was the Stillman's diet, which was, I don't know if any of you remember it, it was water and protein, and that's it. I mean, you drank 8 glasses of water, granted, but the only thing you could have was cottage cheese, lean meats, you could have shrimp cocktails, so you could have a little bit of ketchup and the like, but, you know, here's a 12-year-old kid on a diet, and granted, I lost 40 pounds in 8 weeks. And that was really the beginning of the yo-yo dieting, the food obsession. For me, when I restrict myself and don't allow myself to have a variety of different foods, I food obsess. I think what's changed for me now is that I pretty much allow myself to have anything I want, as long as it's within, you know, a relatively normal amount of calories. That's been so helpful for me, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Part of the reason I wanted to make this video was to thank a few people for the help and support that I've gotten from their videos. I mean, I've been dieting for over 30 years, and, you know, back then, there really wasn't the kind of support that you get on YouTube. You know, you're pretty much on your own. I mean, and I was, when I was at my heaviest, which was probably 240 pounds, I really didn't find any support. I mean, I would go out into the world and feel alienated and feel so unhappy with my body that I pretty much retreated. I mean, I ended up, you know, being a recluse, and, you know, it affected me over the years. I think, you know, for the longest time I would say, okay, I'll lose weight and then everything will be great. Well, I did lose weight, and I didn't have that fairy tale ending. You know, I still had the same problems I had when I started, except I didn't have the weight. And so I think, you know, when I lost the weight and got to goal, I was disillusioned. And, you know, I think I gained the weight back because I didn't have a realistic idea of what my life was going to be when I reached goal. You know, I still had those same issues. I mean, for me, what happened too was I ended up with a lot of anxiety. I ended up with a lot of self-doubt. I still felt like my body had problems. You know, I didn't like the way I looked. Even though I was thin, I still saw myself as fat. I mean, you know, I think it wasn't until recently when, you know, M's video, the Starving Soprano, when she talked about start living now and embrace how you are now, that really had a dramatic impact. More so than any therapy I've ever had. You know, it's amazing when you can look at yourself and go, okay, you know, there are parts of my body I don't like, but you know what, so what? You know, I'm a good human being, and it doesn't matter if my butt is never going to be tight and up, you know. I'm going to probably always have this flabby butt unless I decided to do cosmetic surgery, and you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that. You know, I just think that it's a question of really accepting myself how I am. And, you know, I mean, I'm going to continue to strive to do everything I possibly can to be the best I can. not the point. But along the way, I'm going to like myself. I'm going to love myself. And I'm not going to let myself get down about things that, you know, I might not be able to change. When I talk about that, you know, maybe it's important, you know, I think when you've been dieting for as many years as I've been dieting, you know, you do have things that, I mean, I guess what I'm saying here, and I'm a babbling, is that, you know, I've gone from 110 to 240 and back to 130 and then up to 180. And, you know, I mean, there's only so much that your skin tone can take. And so, you know, I do have some stretch marks and my skin elasticity isn't the greatest, and that's kind of gross, I know, but, you know, that's the reality. And unless I want to have, you know, surgery and risk my life and spend a heck of a lot of money, and you know, it's something I have to embrace, and I'm going to. And I think the point of this whole video is that it wasn't until YouTube that I really got a hold of that concept and embraced it. And it's so freeing. I mean, it used to be I would walk out of the room backwards because I didn't want whoever I was with, my significant other, to see my butt. And I don't do that anymore. And I gotta say, that's so freeing. I mean, it's just so amazing to just really say, you know what, this is me, and so be it.